Hi there, I'm Lana.
Hi, I'm Anshul.
We're the founders of 700 Plus Club, and we're here today to answer some questions from our students. These questions are in a wonderful graduation hat, courtesy of Dowlett.
That's nice. Folded very meticulously by Paulina.
I pick a question randomly and read it to Anshul, and Anshul will answer.
Okay.
The university that I'm applying to has GMAT optional. Should I take it or not?
One-line answer, you should always take the GMAT. It does help with the profile and everything else. Even if they say it's optional. In some universities, they also say it's not required, but recommended, right? It's the same thing. We always advise students that if you can, please do take the GMAT. It does help to enhance your profile, strengthen your profile, and especially in the cases where you have some gap in your GPAs, like lower GPA, it can definitely help you to shine through, right? And compensate for a lower GPA. So yeah, really, I mean, plan it better and just give it a good shot. That's my opinion. Right. How do I know if I should do a master's or an MBA? And what's the difference? Google it.
Well, that's a very good question. And the answer to this question depends basically on you. At what point in your life you are? Have you just recently graduated? Or you have some work experience? Is your work experience extensive or not? What do you want to do after the master's or the MBA? If you have been working for some time and you want to maybe change industries or get a promotion, get to high-level positions, then it makes sense to apply for the MBAs. If you are in the beginning of your career journey and you just recently graduated and you don't have so much experience, maybe it makes sense to apply for masters.
I just wanted to add something to it. Usually, if you look deeper, the typical masters are what we also call the pre-experience masters, where the maximum work experience, full-time work experience that you can have is 2 years. So as long as you have less than 2 years of full-time work experience, you can apply for the master programs. Then we have MBA, which typically is anywhere from 2 years in the States, right? Harvard, Stanford, minimum 2 years, 2+ years of experience. But if you look in Europe, it's like more or less 4 or 5 years. On average, all MBA programs have on average 4 or 5 years of work experience. So the typical problem is the candidates who have almost 2 years of work experience, they're neither on that side, that they can do a master's, neither on the MBA side yet, right? So I think what Lana mentioned is clear, but you should think about this beforehand as to would you be willing to do a master's or an MBA, because once you get to that 2-year period, you will need to wait for another year or 2 years before you can apply for an MBA. And we do see some students who are then struggling. Hey, should I do a master's now or should I just wait 1-2 more years and do an MBA at the end of the day? Okay.
Your dog has to write a letter of recommendation for you. What does he or she say?
I will never ask my dog to write me a recommendation
Why not?
letter.
It would be the best recommendation letter ever.
I know, it would be so cheesy. My dog loved me, like all the dogs. So
Exactly.
a good recommendation is mandatory, and you are lucky if your dog gives you one. But the bottom line is ask the recommendation to the people who really know you and who you know will write good things about you and go 1-2 layers deep and give instances and examples and not just superficial, right? So yeah, very nice question.
Yep. Another advice would be check the requirements of the schools. Normally they would highlight the skills they're looking for in the candidates.
And the recommenders they accept. I'm sure dogs are not there.
And ask your recommenders to highlight specifically those skills. So your recommendation letters would be different for each school.
Your turn. I already picked one. Oh, it's a long one. Wow. So this is for us, like to the company 700. Recently, you launched a new program, Super 50. How and why was it born? You also offer a guarantee, and this sounds very confident.
Yes, it is true. We've just recently launched a product or an offer, a program for the students who not only prepare for the GMAT with us, but we also take them through the whole application process. And it was conceived as a program, as an offer, because we had a lot of students who achieved good scores in the GMAT, but then they were kind of left alone to deal with their applications. And we saw in some instances, very good candidates weren't admitted to the schools they wanted to go, just because they didn't take, let's say, proper care about their application. So since we have this experience and we have this expertise, we thought we'd help them to continue on their journey, because ultimately, it's not that the GMAT you need. Your ultimate target is to be admitted to the school, to the program that you like. So this is how the Super 50 was born. And Super 50 is practically a selective program where we select 50 people and we take this batch through the whole application journey, starting from the GMAT preparation, understanding their aspirations, what they want to study, where they want to study, what kind of career they want to pursue after their master's or their MBA. We discuss the schools they want to go. We understand whether this profile would be interesting for the specific school. We kind of do the matching part. It's like a proper matching, no? And then we also help them prepare their CV, their recommendation letters. We help them edit their essays that the schools require and then prepare them for the interviews. So basically the whole process from the standardized test to the very last part of the admission process. It's a very intensive program. The GMAT course itself is very intensive. Then we have a lot of events that the students participate in terms of how to construct your CV, how to write a wonderful essay, how to find the recommenders, what to say, or let's say things to do and not to do during your interviews, right? So it's like a boot camp, I could call it that, during which we share all the knowledge and all the expertise we've gathered over the years. And then, of course, we work individually with each student to help them highlight their best qualities, their best skills, and we normally encourage them not to be shy and make their CV and their essays shine. So we know how brilliant our students are, so we also want all the schools to see how brilliant our students are, and this is what we eventually help them do. So far, all the students, all our admission consulting students with whom we work got admitted to the schools of their choice. So we have 100% success rate. That's why we are quite confident that, and that's why we offer the money-back guarantee.
And it makes sense. I mean, we also thought about that if they are paying us and if we do all the due diligence beforehand, and if we sit down with the student, we look at their profile, their scores and everything, and we discuss that, okay, these are the programs that we will apply together, and they put the trust in us, we need to repay the trust by at least putting the money where we make the promise, right? So if we are unable to get them into any of the schools, I don't think we deserve to take their money, right? So that was very easy for us to offer the guarantee, right? So, and the statistics are in our favor, so that helps. Your turn.
Nice, that was a good
Pick
question.
a nice one.
Higher education has its price. What are the payments options?
Financing options, probably. So yes, it's super expensive. I mean, higher education is expensive. So there are different types of financing that the students should look into. One of the most common ones are the scholarships that the majority of the schools give, right? So there are merit-based scholarships, there are diversity-based scholarships, there are different levels of scholarships, Fulbright scholarships,
GMAT
and so
score,
on. Yeah,
high score scholarships.
I mean, so that's one. But then you also have country-based scholarships, You also have scholarships from different agencies like NGOs and others, right? So I always advise students that you do go through all the different types of scholarships that you can find, which is based on the school you're applying to, the program you're applying to, the country you're applying from, based on the country you're applying in. Like France has some specific scholarships for the people who are coming in and so on. And then there are also some other scholarships like Fulbright scholarship, right? Rhodes scholarships. This is the second method. The third one is, the most common, is by taking a mortgage or a loan, right, with your local banks or with the banks in where the institutions are. Then the other popular ones are like the Prodigy Finance, Juno, which is the lender-based financing where you don't have to mortgage anything and you get loans at a pretty decent interest rate, which you can then repay after you have graduated. Another amazing way of not paying is getting your company to sponsor your MBA or the master's. Master's very hard, but MBA yes. So a lot of top companies, they sponsor the MBAs, like we know a lot of consulting companies, bankings, investment funds, and so on. So yeah, that's also an amazing one. I've also seen some candidates who plan beforehand, and once they're graduating, they apply for a deferred MBA, right? And what it helps is that because the deferred MBA is after you gain an experience, they use the admission letter to get really good jobs. So for example, once you have a deferred MBA from Colombia, one of the students used that as an advantage on LinkedIn, on resume, joining the class of 2020X, whatever. And of course that sets you apart from the normal crowd, right? And then got into a top consulting firm, used that consulting firm to pay for the MBA at Colombia. So for him, it was free, apart from the time he spent at the consulting. So there are different ways. It always helps if you plan early, look at all the financing options, as long as it doesn't pay a burden. It also makes sense to look at what you're expecting after the higher education, to plan how are you going to repay if you have taken the debt and the loan. The highest form of debts are the education debts in the US, if we see it.
You also have to consider that you have to go back and work for the company that paid for you.
Yeah, if you go, 2 years, 3 years. So
it's not completely free.
No, you pay with time. That's what I said. You pay
Afterwards.
with time. Yeah, even afterwards, you pay with time, of course. Why would they give you for free? When is the best time to take the GMAT?
The best time to take the GMAT is always yesterday.
So true.
You have to prepare as much in advance as possible for your application. And our advice is usually to get rid of the GMAT the first thing you do. Right? So don't keep it to the last moment, not a month before the deadline, not 2 months before the deadline, but as early as possible.
I agree. I think one of the mistakes people make is they always plan for the best case scenario. I don't know why. Whereas when you're planning, it's a basic rule. You should plan for average scenarios. What if I'm an average student? How much time will I take? Seriously, they plan for, I'm a top student. I will, if on average it takes 3 months, I will only take 2 months, and then they plan for 2 months. And of course you can imagine what happens is surprise, and then everything goes haywire. So when you are planning, plan with average in mind, with the average data, and then add 1-2 months. So if it takes 3 months, imagine 5-6, depending on the schools you're targeting and the score you're targeting. And as Lana said, if you have time, just do the GMAT. It's valid for 5 years. There's no excuse. It's a test of reasoning. It takes time to get used to how the test makers are thinking, creating the questions, what are the traps. So the more time you give yourself, the higher the chances that you will score much better than if you give yourself a limited time. And also at ease, make it fun and not as a pressure. I need to get it done by ABC. The more fun you have, the more excited you are about GMAT and improving, you will see the results follow easily.
Yes, don't put too much pressure on yourself by putting it off till the last day.
And the easiest way not to put pressure is not having pressure of time, right? So if I start now and I don't need to think I need to be done in a month, I'm relaxed. So.
Well, then you tend to procrastinate.
No, but there has to be a balance. It's not that I have time and I do nothing. So There
Yeah.
has to be a balance of things. But yeah, I mean, start early, get it done with, and then you can just focus on the applications.